Hey YouTube, I am back today with part 5 of the Creepiest Lost Cartoon episode, Creepy Lost Cartoon episodes. Yeah, I lost track of what I was saying at first. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in about a week. I've actually been pretty busy and in a lot of pain. If you can't tell, our room looks a little bit different. I rearranged in here like 2 days ago. But today I am going to do about like 7 videos. I'm going to finish off the series on the Lost Cartoon episodes. And then I'm going to move on to my plush series. Before we start this video, like I say in every one of these videos, viewer discretion is advised. So if you are a young child, please do not watch this, because it might ruin your childhood. And also leave down in the comments if you have seen any of these Lost Cartoon episodes. Oh, and if you don't notice, my hair looks a little purple today. I got a little bit of dye in it last night. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. One more time, viewer discretion is advised.
Today I'm taking a look at some of the creepiest Lost Cartoon episodes. These are creepypastas and completely fictional, but they're still pretty scary. If you're a younger viewer, you may want to click away right now because there is disturbing content in this video. Good luck to anyone who watches this. See if you can make it through the whole thing. With all that being said, let's begin. First up, we have a Lost episode revolving around Courage the Cowardly Dog. Scooby-Doo was airing on Cartoon Network one late night on TV, and it said that Courage was coming up next. But after the theme song, the screen just went black for 5 minutes with no explanation. After those 5 minutes, however, the episode began and Courage stared lifelessly at the screen. His eyes were plain red with no pupil or iris as he just stared at the viewer. Shortly after, we see him walking down a creepy road that seemed to lead nowhere. He was holding a knife with blood on the end of it, but that was still unexplained. This lasted for a minute as we see him walking this road with creepy music and some static. Eventually it's revealed that he was walking to his house as he sees Muriel and Eustace sitting inside. While there was silence for a while, this piece was completely broken when Muriel used her rolling pin and beat Eustace with no mercy. You could hear screams of pain and see the blood splatter. Courage stood there just watching the scene play out as he held the bloody knife. He started talking in a strange language, and then Muriel looked up at him. Courage slowly walked over to her and slit her throat with blood dripping down everywhere. He dragged the bodies of Eustace and Muriel to the basement where you can see a bunch of other dead bodies. Courage draws a pentagram around these bodies, lights the pile on fire, and yells in a distorted voice. He jumped into the fire and screamed as it burned his flesh. The house burned to the ground and a storm ends the episode. The credits featured scratchy music, static, and the only words were, "Made by Lucifer." There's a Lost episode called deadsponge.avi that features everyone's favorite underwater sponge. It is lost somewhere on a video sharing website online, but nobody knows where to find it. The video begins with an outside view of SpongeBob's house for 2 minutes. You can see that the door is open, but nothing happens on screen, and we are left to these 2 minutes of silence. Shortly after, the camera went to SpongeBob's bedroom where SpongeBob is sleeping. His alarm clock makes a loud sound for 20 seconds, and then SpongeBob got up to cheer. He got up and looked at his calendar, realizing that today is the day where he could get his driver's license. As he jumped for joy, he ran out of the house and went to Mrs. Puff's boating school. As he is driving the boat later on, he crashes into another boat, which causes his blood and brain to slowly ooze out of his holes. We see a shot of him for 2 minutes, and he does absolutely nothing on the ground, and the screen just cuts to black. Fast-moving clips play for several seconds along with a beep sound. Then it cuts to a funeral with a bunch of tombstones, and every friend of SpongeBob was there. They threw flowers at the tombstone and began to cry. However, an odd Russian voice is heard in the background that isn't clear at first. It says, "Death and misery are both in your hands." We continue to see this funeral scene play out, but then the crying and deep Russian voice stopped. Patrick stares at the viewer in a fourth wall break, and then he takes his eyeballs out. It then cuts to a realistic picture of SpongeBob drawn on paper with a stitched mouth, trying to scream but unable to. There's a deep voice screaming something with some static, and this is assumed to be the same Russian voice as before. There's a few more seconds of static, and the video ends. The final lost episode I'll be talking about is from the Loud House. The title is called Enough is Enough. It was found on an obscure website, and apparently it was meant to be the finale of the third season.
Warning, if you love the Loud House, I would probably click out of this video right now because this is highly disturbing and I don't want to ruin anyone's life out there. So if you don't want to watch, if you love the Loud House and don't want your childhood ruined full of it, please leave this video right now.
Unfortunately, it was scrapped after its production was done because the episode was way too disturbing. The episode began with an outside view of the house, except there was no music. Lincoln was watching TV, and then he turned to the camera. He asked the viewer, "Don't you just hate living with 10 sisters? Well, sometimes I do." His smile turned upside down, and he goes on and on about how his sisters aren't beneficial to have around. Luann appeared and told him a joke, with Lincoln's hand on his face. When the jokes were over, he took his hand off, and it revealed his angry eyes. "Enough is enough," Lincoln said as he grabbed Luann. He slammed her against the wall, knocking her out. He looked at her unconscious body on the ground and realized that killing made him feel so alive. We then cut to Lori texting on her phone. She leaves the room possibly to go to the bathroom and then came back to see Lincoln inside. Lori was hit on the head by her phone, glass shattering everywhere. She began to bleed with glass pieces stuck on her face, and then it cut to black and we start to see various other Lincoln killings. Lincoln choked Lynn from behind, and it didn't feel like the cartoony style the Loud House is so synonymous with. He killed the other sisters in violent ways, like smashing Luna's guitar in her face and setting Lucy on fire. 1 week later, Lincoln was staring at the bodies of his dead sisters, and he said he needed one more kill. He realized that he must kill himself, so the screen cut to black for 10 seconds and appeared with Lincoln hanging from the ceiling, back turned against the camera. Anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos.
Okay, so I just made this video and I am going to be making part 6 of this right after I start uploading this video. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.